Joined by Counselor to the President, Kellyanne Conway. Kellyanne, thanks so much for being here tonight, staying up late for us.
Thank you, Laura, of course.
Absolutely. Any concern from the White House about where this vote count stands right at this moment? We don't know about Flake. Collins seems like a yes. Murkowski, no clue.
We're feeling very confident that everything the Democrats and even Dr. Ford have asked to be done in terms of major accommodations over the last 2.5 weeks have been done. The FBI supplemental is completed, and this is the seventh FBI vetting that's been completed on Judge Kavanaugh, including 2 just this calendar year. So now it's time to vote, and we feel pretty confident. I'm not going to get ahead of those who are still sitting on the fence, but I will tell you, Laura, that there are some red state Democrats who have a really terrible decision to make. They either have to accede to the will of their voters who want Judge Kavanaugh confirmed, want that 9th seat filled in the United States Supreme Court, which just started its new session, or they can go and be complicit with a process that has been fraught with hysterics and hyperbole and hyperpartisanship and hapless Democrats trying to undo election results from 2 years ago, trying to slow down this nomination to get ahead of the midterm elections this year. And they have to decide whether they're going to be part of that leftward drift. They own all those protesters if they vote against Judge Kavanaugh. They own all the hysterics, all the craziness that you see there. And I think that we're going to have the votes, and he ought to be confirmed. And by the way, what's happened in our culture, Mary Madeline is absolutely correct. It won't go away once Judge Kavanaugh is on the Supreme Court. I think many people should be held for account for the lack of dignity and integrity.
They're out there tomorrow. They're going to be out there. They're going to be caught. They're going to be protesting. It's their right to protest. This is America. Your right to protest as long as it's civil and as long as people don't get hurt.
But it hasn't been.
Richard Blumenthal in Connecticut, of course, my home state, senator from Connecticut, said this today about this process, Kellyanne. Let's watch.
It strikes me as really a neglect of the FBI's duty, but the FBI is not responsible. I think that the blame lies with the White House that straitjacketed this investigation.
You heard that, Kellyanne, throughout the protests today, that this investigation was circumscribed artificially. The deadline was artificial. The real facts didn't get out. This was a rush job and, frankly, a con job. That's what the left and the protesters today were saying.
Well, he's lying, and of course he has a history of not being able to tell the truth. He lied about his service in Vietnam. He didn't serve in Vietnam. He served during Vietnam, and that's not just the difference of a word. So this is somebody who stood right behind Mazie Hirono of Hawaii last week when she said, "I just want to tell the men of America to shut up," and he smirked. And then I guess he didn't understand what she said because he's been talking since. That's one thing I agree with her. He should definitely stop lying about the FBI and this investigation and what the White House did or didn't do. The people that Dr. Ford herself claims could have corroborated her allegations were part of the FBI supplemental investigation. And guess what? Ding, ding, ding. They couldn't corroborate her allegations, it turns out. You have these fence-sitting senators who have very respectfully come forward, Laura, and said they think this was a thorough investigation. One of them said there's not a hint of any misconduct and that the allegations have not been corroborated. The point is this. There's no nominee that President Trump is going to put forward that's going to satisfy liberal Dick Blumenthal. There's no nominee that Code Pink would ever like.
This is about the midterms.
They have to admit this is about the midterms. But by the way, speaking of the midterms, I want to thank all these crazy liberals because they've done something that wasn't able to do. They've energized disparate Republicans.
Got to keep it up, though. Got to keep it up. Got 4 more weeks, 5 more weeks.
No,
got 5 more weeks.
There's no question about it. But I just want to tell these folks, of course, they have a right to protest. And the First Amendment says you can act crazy also. But to coin 2 phrases
all right, we got to go, Kellyanne.
Time's up and move on. And they ought to think about that.
Kellyanne, thank you so much for making time for us tonight.